Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Just Why I'm playing Final Fantasy XIV. You might be thinking like, where's Lynn? Well, if you haven't watched last episode, we finished off our entire relic weapon thing and our entire quest lines with Jelzan and Gerald. And in this episode, to begin the episode, we're gonna go and take a look at all of them. Now when it comes to the flavor text, I found the flavor text for the Zodiac weapon, so like the final stage. But I did not find the original stuff, like the original flavor text. So like the flavor text from, what's it called, like the Holy Blade, I think? Or like the Holy Shield and then the Cortana, which would be like the original Paladin weapon, basically. I can only find the flavor text of the Excalibur and the Aegis Shield, which would then be the later variants of it. Let us take a gander, shall we? So, the Excalibur or the Cortana. I personally quite enjoy this weapon. I like that thick blade. Yeah, I do very much enjoy the Cortana. Then we have the Cortana replica, like just the actual Cortana, which has its nice little engravings on it. Still a wide blade at that point. Then we have the Zenith one, where we have our slight sheen on it. The Atma version, where the blades, like the overall look of the blade changes, which I also really enjoy. I only just remembered how much I like the Cortana and the Excalibur, but they also fit really well on like, you know, my main character, so I'm not gonna show my freaking gear because that doesn't make any sense. Okay. Then the Novus, where it becomes even shinier. Wait, is that it? Does it not have like another effect to it? Oh no, whoopsie, I just skipped over one. Hold up a second though. So the Animus one is like a light thing, and then this one is like a more yellowish, like it has like a different color to it. And then the Nexus has, you know, like a blinding friggin' light and the two rings. And then we switch over to the Excalibur, which is a blade that I used to not really like too much compared to the other one. But like with the effect of this, it's so good. I love it. Right, so unfortunately I'm gonna have to open this thing up from the beginning the entire time. Then we have the Holy Shield. Also, once I'm done showing this off, then I will read the flavor text. Then we have the Holy Shield Zenith replica. Or like just the... I don't need to even read the replica thing. The Holy Blade. I like the Holy Shield. Zenith, then Atma, which it makes it look even more Paladin-like, I would say, personally. The Animus version, where it now gets a green sheen. Novus, where it now gets the yellow or more Holy Sheen, and also... you can see like a slight like defensive barrier look on it, which is really nice. I already looked at the Novus one, I'm stupid. And then we have the Nexus one. Or I think like Novus and Animus share their looks quite... They just kind of share their looks. What is wrong with me? Sometimes I can like speak English really well, and sometimes I have the opposite. Anyway, this is the Nexus version, which... I guess I like, but I don't really like the ring too much, in my humblest of opinions. Then we have the Aegis Shield, which was one that I was really disappointed about when I originally saw it. But now I can very much enjoy it. It looks really nice. My own character's Paladin looks like that. Anyway, let me go and switch over to my Paladin. Okay, cool. I can't switch my glamour plates, but in any case, this is what it would look like when both of them are out, which is pretty freaking nice. I like it. Let me go and take a look, actually, because... let's go switch back to Warrior, because I think I have a portrait with that one, which would be my Paladin one. However, I can't see it. That's also kind of weird, that I can't really see these right now. Oh well, anyway. Oh no! Anyway. The lore. Ages past, a wise and just king reigned over all Ilzabard. A blade such as this graced his scabbard in times of peace. and brought terror to his foes in times of strife. And his shield? A twin to the one you hold. Unwavering, unyielding, and unbreaking. Next one would be the Kaiser Knuckles. So it begins with a Svarai, which are quite interesting though, because like if I unsheath them, you can see like the mouth opening and closing, which is quite interesting. Then we have the normal version of the Svarai, the Zenith version of the Svarai, with the usual effects, the Atma version, which makes it look a lot cleaner, I would say. Then the Animus version, which gives it a nice little effect. Novus, which gives it another effect. Basically the same effect, but then like a different color and a little bit more thick. Then we have the Nexus one, which makes it look like it's about to explode. And then we have the Kaiser Knuckles, which are just big ol' freaking claws. And then the Zeta version, which has, in my humble opinion by the way, the ARR relic weapons have the best freaking effects at the moment. From everything that I've like gotten, these ones have such nice effects. I've noticed that I'm subconsciously more a fan of like less is more. We'll see it in like Heavensward. The relic weapons from Heavensward are a little bit over the top with their effects, which I don't really like that much. While with these ones are like a lot more subtle, and that's what I really enjoy. Anyway, the Kaiser Knuckles. Also, if you can hear anything in the background, it is a cat playing with something. When Cataclysm loomed over the Near East, the hero Mirza arose to defend the people from fell fiends. Once he had torn the monsters apart, he raised a mighty empire, and fashioned a pair of weapons such as these from his foes' claws. Alright, and then next up we get to the best one. Okay, maybe not the best one, actually definitely one of the best ones. We have the normal Bravura, or the unfinished Bravura. Then we have the normal one, which is a slightly cleaner version of it. Then we have the Zenith, which gives it the usual effect. Looks quite intriguing, actually. And then we have the Atma version, which is just the same weapon, but then bloodied. Which I did not appreciate when I got it. The Animus version, which gives it its usual sheen. Novus, where it gives it a different sheen, and then the Nexus one, which gives the lines and a specific color and just in general a more menacing aura. Then we have the Ragnarok, which in and of itself already looks pretty dang fine in my humble opinion. And then we have the Zeta version, which is which is to this point my favorite axe in the game. I am a warrior main, and this is what I use when I play. Anyway, the story of the Ragnarok. An ancient hero seized a weapon like this from a void-sent lord. At the time it was taken, legend tells us it was a sword, yet later it transformed to match the bent of its wielder and became a mighty battle axe. This weapon is a reference to the Ragnarok, which was a weapon that you could get in... At least, you can probably get in like more games, but the game that I remember it more from is Final Fantasy V, where you could get it from defeating the hidden boss called Shinryu, which, you know, you open a chest and the boss murders you. It's a super boss, so it's really nasty. Anyway, next one, which is actually the one that we just finished, but I'm still going to show it off. In case people have not really remembered what it looks like originally. The unfinished one, which is just a black one over here, which doesn't really look too amazing. Then it turns into a purple one. Then it will turn into a purple one with a very slight effect on it, actually. The Atma version, which makes it turn blue da-boo-dee-ba-dum-mau. Then blue with a pretty nice effect, actually. And then purple, or pink, kind of. Then this. Ooh, this actually looks really good. I like that. Then we have the good old Longiris. And then the one that we obtained for Lyn, which is the Longiris Zeta. Which looks pretty freaking stellar. Anyway, story of the Longiris. It was holy blood that gave divine might to the original polearm of Longiris. However, it was only once the hero set forth upon a great pilgrimage to atone for his part in the execution of a saint that the gods lent him their strength. Right, next up is another one of my favorites. Another thing that I haven't really found a good, like a better version of. It would be the Yoichi bow technically, but well, you know, the usual. The Artemis bow, which is a quite interesting bow because like when you have it sheathed, it looks like a harp. And just in general, like kind of looks like a harp. One of its, I guess, is it one of its? Nah, it's not really. It's just like it's basically just like a harp thrown onto a bow. Anyway, first one doesn't really have much to say for it. The second one gives it a little bit more color. Then a slight effect on it. The Atma one, which is the one that gives it its actual color scheme. Then the Animus one, which just gives it, you know, the usual effects. Novus makes it freaking yellow. Nexus gives it its own color and also the Rings of Light. And then we have the Yoichi bow, which is a very elegant, nice piece of bow. And guess what the effect is? Look at this. Look at this absolute beauty. Anyway, lore. Behold, the likeness of the longbow once drawn by Yoichi, the famed archer of the Far East. Ancient legends say that the hero could loose a shaft so true as to pierce the eye of a sea serpent, even amidst a raging tempest. Right, next up, another one of my favorite. Like, all of these ARR ones are so good. I love them all, honestly. There's not a single one that I would, there's not a single one that I would outright dislike. Anyway, we have the Yoshimitsus, which are the weapons, like, all of these, like, normal versions of these weapons are the ones that the job people tend to use. So, like, you're, like the big character in the job quests. Once again, Yoshimitsu with a little bit more of an effect. These ones, which are just, like, polished and refined. Ah, I love it. By the way, for anybody who is unaware, I absolutely adore weapon design. Weapon and armor design is, oh, so good. Especially weapon design. Armor a little bit less. This is a really nice effect, honestly. And then we have these Sasuke's blades, where they turn relatively thick, but still very ornate. And then we have the effect on it, which is a very simple, yet very deadly looking effect. Anyway, lore. Sasuke, the hero who freed a people from a tyrant's reign, wielded blades like these. The ninja himself bore the blood of ancient heroes, and his own descendants bore the daggers for long generations after he passed away. Alright. Then we have the Nirvana. Or, you know, the Styrus. Styrus, whatever. It's the usual, stick with these ones. Like all of these weapons have like the usual like progression, I would say. This color scheme is a choice. Never, like, I totally forgot that that even existed. From all of the from all the Zodiac weapons, this is probably my least favorite. It gets pretty wild though, some of these effects. Then we have the Nirvana, which is just a stick. It looks, once again, it's ornate and like really fine and nice looking. But it's just not really my style. And then we have this, which with its beautiful effect on it. I do like it, but it just doesn't really fit me. Anyway, after long years spent spurring worldly desires, a Near Eastern hierarch rose to a higher state of being, and as he did, life itself quickened within his trusty staff, the very twin of which you now hold. That's intriguing. Anyway, next up is the Lilith Rod. Or the Stardust Rod, to be precise. The Black Mage weapon. I love this, by the way. This is such a simple, yet really, really good looking effect. This is definitely one of my favorite, like, base looking, like, one of my favorite, like, relic weapons. These are the Zodiac weapons, these two are down here, but these are the relic weapons. And this one, oh my fucking god. So good. And this effect, they all have such nice effects too, honestly. This is definitely one of my favorites from all of them, I would say. Both its relic weapon version and its Zodiac weapon version are pretty dang good. Look at this. Look at this graph. Anyway, tales tell of an archmagus, whatever, who struck down the Void-Sent Queen Lilith when she manifested in our realm. As his prize, he claimed her weapon, the incarnation of which you now grasp in your hand. And here comes another one of my favorites. At least, you know, the Zodiac version of it. The Veil of Ryu, which is the summoner weapon. Just like a tiny little crystal that pops out. The effects on these books are pretty dang bad, honestly. There's not really much detail on them, at least in the relic version of the weapon. But I do like the color scheme that they go for with this one. This one is a nice color scheme. Definitely fits like the summoner's deal, I would say. But all of these effects are pretty lackluster, I would say. Not particularly amazing, as you can see. It just turns more and more into like a nuke of light. Then we have the Apocalypse, which is a not amazing looking book in its normal version. However, when you get it to the next version, it gets this beautiful little effect. And that, my friends, is also my favorite summoner weapon at this point. I haven't really found a better one for my main character either. Anyway, the final one, which would be the Last Resort, where we have the beginning version, which is the Omnilix, with a beautiful little feather in it. Once again, the effects are not that amazing. Changes to this intriguing color scheme for a scholar. And then once again, it slowly but surely just turns into more of a light nuke as we go further down the stages. Then we have the Last Resort in itself, which is a really nice looking book. But then you have the effect to it, and this is what made me fall in love with this weapon. Simple, casual, yet refined. Anyway. Lore. Legend tells us a grimoire such as this was passed down to the mages of Nim. Indeed, Golbas Rombas, the hero who saved his people from the floods of the Sixth Umbral Calamity, was known to rely upon it as his secret weapon. Also, I totally forgot to read the Apocalypse. Who penned the original of this grimoire in times of Eld is a mystery, yet it is said that the predictions of world's end it holds are so dark as to destroy weak men's wills. Wow. Cool as fuck, as they say. Anyway, my friends, I will be right back. We're going to switch back over to Lynn, and we're going to go and do the Amalja, the final Amalja quest. Alright, we have returned. Hello. Lunga is gone. She had no duties that would take her from the camp this day. I fear she rides for Zaharak, and her chance at Zagoz's head. Jesus. The war leader must be told. She is gone. Be impatient, whelp. Reckless action is not martial courage. To charge into battle without certainty of one's self or one's enemy is to court disaster. Lunga is beyond our help now. This is her battle, and her battle alone. Amalja law forbids intervention in such vendettas. If she wishes to perish in a blaze of false glory, then that is the wish she has chosen. Lunga's decisions define her as a warrior, and thus will end her tale. Also, I should switch this thing to my mind roulette. Hamuchka will do nothing. We have trained Lunga since she was barely more than a hatchling. There must be something. Honored ally, though I risk bringing shame upon myself and the Brotherhood, I beg you hear my plea. As an Amalja, I am bound by our laws and customs, but you are not. Pray follow Lunga into Zaharak and see that she survives this madness. You okay? Also, just remembered something else that we still need to do. Y'all remember Shiva? I remember. We still need to fight Shiva Extreme. So that is another thing that I think I will try to do after this, but we'll see how it goes, because there's literally nobody online. Where are you, Zagaste? Your doom is come. Adventurer, why are you here? Did you follow me? I told you, I don't need... Since you are here, perhaps you can prove useful. There's a cage yet deeper within the stronghold. I thought that perhaps it might be, well... Just free the prisoner, yes? The key is held by Monop Cha. He is the Flamefang's second in command, and not to be underestimated. Zagos Te is mine, but she will have your share of the glory. Now go. What a perfect time to be a black mage. I don't really care too much. Black mage is fine. It just takes a little bit more time to get going. Where is he? Monopcha. Monopcha. Eat my fire, you piece of bitch. You piece of bitch. Yes. As a matter of fact, yes. Ba, 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 ba. Who is it? Who's there? Stay back. You stay away. I know why you're here, filthy kidnappers. You've come from my little loon, haven't you? Well, you can't have her. No one can have her. She's been promised to the Lord of the Inferno. She's tempered, isn't she? Yikes. Mother, you're alive? Who's that? No? No, I know you people snatchers and your dirty tricks. Now get out before you scare my little lung. Out! Out, I said. Gods, no. There's naught quite as touching as a reunion betwixt mother and child. I can scarce contain my tears of bittersweet joy. Sagoste, you'll pay for what you've done to her, and to me. Some of the tempers, such as this one, are exposed overlong to the sacred flame, and become the walking witless, barely aware of their own existence. Is Lord Ifrit's power not magnificent? Come now. It is time you were purified in the raging blaze of his blessing. Come back and face me, coward! You know you have a bow, right? I go now to put an end to that monster's abominations once and for all. But if I'm to have any chance of victory, I will need you to first destroy Ifrit's beacons. Honor and pride, adventurer. Nod. Babbidi-beep-bop. Eat my freaking black magic, bitch. My thaumaturgy. Yeah. There we go. I may be a level 60 black mage, but I do not have any of the skills that you would normally have as a level 60 black mage. An unfortunate side effect of, you know, not having done the job quests from Heaven's Word. The most unfortunate thing. I'm going to switch for a second first. Here's Johnny! Well, it is if Johnny is, you know, considered a big ol' fireball. There we go. Waiting. 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 You're as a lost kitten that has wandered into the Drake's lair. Surrender this doomed vendetta. Submit to Ifrit's will, as your mother did before you. How they got up there, nobody knows. Oh, the pain. How is this possible? My spells are drawn from the searing furnace of Ifrit's might. Wrong, your power was drawn from the beacons, and those altars of suffering are no more. Without your precious blessing, there's naught to protect you from the sting of my arrows. Mercy! Mercy, I beg you. The will of our god is overwhelming. Spare my life, and I shall become your slave instead. Pitiful creature. If any brings shame to the Amalja, Zogoste, then it is you. Your power is broken and my vengeance complete. No more of my arrows need to be stained by your coward's blood. Crawl back under your rock, lizard. Call him a fool. Die. Ooh, right in the face. Arg. The monsters are falling out of the sky. Hey. War leader. You forsook all that is sacred to a true warrior of the Amalja, Zagoste. For your cowardice and cruelty, the only reward is death. I beheld the entire confrontation, Lunga. You fought with honor and with courage. Such was my proud exultation. The dagger flew unbit from my hand. How unfortunate, then, that Zagoste stood in its path. It appears that perfect martial detachment yet eludes even me. Were you watching, Mother? You have been avenged. It's interesting that you just left her there. She may have been tempered beyond belief, but like... she wouldn't really have done that much in that state. It's not like she would be like a fervent follower where she would go out and, you know... hand out the will of your boy Ifrit. I would like to invite you for our to join a religion of the Saint and Lord Ifrit. Something is happening behind me. This cat is doing sus stuff. With the Flame Fangs defeated, the Amalja within Zandrak will return to cowering behind our campfires. And though the embers of Ifrit's blessing yet smolder, we shall fight with fire. We shall fight that fire within, with the flames we ourselves nurture, a strength born from within. But I need not speak to you of strength, for you, perhaps more than any, have near to the peak of perfection. You have earned the highest praise and deepest gratitude of my people. Even should our races clash in blood-drenched savagery, you, honored ally, will always be welcomed by the Brotherhood of Ash. I have seen my mother safely to Forgotten Springs. Ah, okay. It is unheard of for Temper to ever recover from their primal-induced madness, but it is my hope she will at least find a measure of peace in our old home. Oh, and a word with you, adventurer. I questioned your resolve, and you have answered me as well as any Amalja warrior would. You have my respect. And my thanks. Well, this feels strange. Why are you staring? I cannot help the way I look. My brother must think me hideous. The road calls you, honored ally. Though misfortune seeks to waylay us, let us not stray from the path of the strong. The strong. The strong. Anyway. Oh, now I need to go back to Uldar, really now. Let's go and tell him, like, hey, it's your boy. Just, you know, brokered peace with the Amalja. Ba, 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 ba. Bidet. Commander Gisselbert submitted a detailed report, Lynn. It seems my decision to assign you this duty was the correct one. With the Amalja fanatics thus quelled, Thanalan may enjoy a measure of peace for a time. And though we are never in short supply of beastmen-related problems, I believe you've earned a respite from the chaos. Enjoy the rest while you may, Lynn. Jesus. That's some loud freaking noises. Right. We can now... A real bad Ash. This game sucks. So we now have Sister of Ash. And we also have... Earned Trusted, which is the final rank that you would need, like that you can get with these beast tribes. Except for the Exile. They have a lot more to them, which is weird, but you know, this is a realm reborn, weird stuff happens. That is not a joke. That is actually true. From all, like, from this entire game, ARR has like the most intriguing design choices. Which is, you know, not particularly a bad thing, honestly. Anyway, or at least not always. Let me say it like that. Alright. Vendor Man. So, now that we have finished all of that stuff, we can buy the Wind-Up Amalja minion and the Drake Horn mount. Remember that Drake that we were riding around with for the quests? It is now available for us as a mount. It, I think, still is one of my favorite mounts in the game. It's so simple, but I love it. I love riding on that thing. Also, is Lunga always gonna have her mask off now? No, okay. She's gonna keep it on because she feels hideous. with it off. Okay, next up, my friends, let us go and move ourselves to Horizon and hope that I can get this Shiva quest over there. I'm also gonna scoot away for a second, because I need to do something. I'll be right back though. You may even be able to hear me still. I don't know. Now I'm coming back. All loud. I'm coming. That is an interesting thing to say. People will definitely take that out of context, as they usually do. Anyway. Let us go and move. What? Let us go and maneuver ourselves over to Vesper Bay and pray that pray returning to the Waking Sands will actually yield me the quest that I need. Sometimes this game looks really nice, but sometimes the lighting can also be very weird. Not gonna lie. It's interesting, it's really early, but my cat is already having zoomies. It's a weird time for this cat to have zoomies right now. Aha! Oh, drop that Shiva. Good day. By thy high deeds, were the people of Curthus spared certain doom at the hands of a deiform entity. Yet, if the missive we have received from Lord Drillmont of House Turin there speak us through, 'twould seem that hard-won respite hath come and gone. Recovering from her wounds, Lady Iceheart hath rejoined the struggle against Ishgard. Worse, 'tis said that her disciples have already laid claim to a hoard of crystals. A hoard far exceeding the quantity but recently wrested from the caravans of House Fortin. 'Tis all but certain that a heretic's mistress intendeth to call upon Saint Shiva once more. And so, once more, must Leorge's blade of light be brought to bear against the primal. None save thee hath might enough to defeat such a foe. 'Tis for this reason that Lord Drillmont hath requested thy presence at White Brim Front. Pray he thee thither with all haste. Why would you say it like that? Or hie thee hither? Or thither? Nah. Man. That's not easy. Speaking of not particularly easy content, Shiva. That fight is, well, I would say the fight is not the most difficult one. I still feel like Ramu takes the cake from a Realm Reborn. I would say like Ramu takes the cake like from like in general like difficulty because of a lot of confusion that can happen and people just dying because of the mechanics. However, I will say that Shiva, when it comes to like just pure, I would say, pure like skill required, I would say Shiva is probably on the higher one. With the emphasis on I think. It's very difficult for me to judge like what is more difficult or less difficult. My gratitude for your timely return, Lyn. Would that it were under better circumstances. Our efforts to contain a heretic's threat in the western highlands beyond Snowcloak have suffered a grievous setback. In order to support expeditions further afield, we sought to establish an outpost in the heretic's former fortress. Under guard, our craftsmen began the necessary improvements, and for a time, all proceeded according to plan. The building work had scarce begun when Iceheart's minions descended upon the fortress from all directions. If I were to guess, I would say that they deliberately delayed their attack until sufficient supplies had been delivered to their doorstep. I do not begrudge my men their decision to flee. By all accounts, it would have been a slaughter. Any survivors condemned to a fate worse than death at the hands of their leader. However, by abandoning our crystal stores, we have given the heretics the means to summon their patron saint. I beseech you, Lyn, slayer of the gods of beastmen, who banished once before the demon who threatens us now. Lend us your strength. Infiltrate Snowcloak and put an end to Iceheart's machinations. Nod. Thank you, my friend. Though I pray you can stop her before she completes her ritual, I have faith you can defeat Shiva, should it come to that. One of Sir Emeric's temple knights await you at Snowcloak. He shall guide you through secret tunnels to the Aetheryte at the heart of the heretics' fortifications, whence you may gain entrance to Iceheart Sanctuary, as before. I believe my horse can fly. I believe it can really fly. If you look at it now. Why am I doing this? Why are we here? Just to suffer. Metal Gear. It's the first thing I had to think of when I was talking like that. I was like, huh. It is an honor, madam. When you are ready, I shall lead you through the tunnels to the Aetheryte. We should not be troubled by heretics or beasts along the way, so you may concentrate solely on the task at hand. May the Fury grant you the strength to strike down that heathen witch once and for all. And then we have the extreme version of Shiva. Shiva Baba. And now I'm going to be right back for you guys, and who knows how long for me. Because, you know, I have no idea how I'm gonna gather people to help me with this. BRB. Let me just say that this is a risk. There's literally nobody else online, so I decided to pop it into Duty Finder, and there's a lot of people actually queuing for either this or it's a lot of mentors. I know what I'm doing, so for me, this is a non-issue. However, you know, for other people, it could be more of an issue. Seems to be a lot of sprites. And then one mentor. One mentor who is regretting their life decisions. Wait, jumps in. There is a strat. Oh, rip. Yeah, I'm not gonna start tanking quite yet. There we go. What strat are you even talking about? Anyway, this fight, it's in a certain way very similar to the normal fight, which makes sense. When she grabs the staff, she's going to do those AoE attacks. Then we have more of these boys. There's only one safe spot right now, so, you know, keep an eye out for that. It's very confusing to see, actually. Once again, she just like uses Dreams of Ice now. Also the sword. Instead of taking it alone, you now need to go and share it with the entire group. You need to share the damage, otherwise you will die as a tank. You will most likely perish. Alright, when it comes to ads, just do the same as before. Just take him. Just take him and kill him. In the meantime, try to still aim the sword attack when she switches over to a sword. She's gonna do that attack first thing. Also, at some point, she's going to start building up vulnerability debuffs on the tank, depending on which weapon she's using. Right now she's using the sword, which will give you blunt resistance, which means the next time that she grabs her her staff, it's going to do increased damage. She just keeps doing this. So I would have the tank swap, I think, once he switches over to her staff. Another thing that she did, which you haven't really been able to properly see, is shield bash. You need to stand behind her to avoid it. If you get hit with the shield bash, you're gonna get stunned. That's all. Then here comes the second phase. I'm just gonna explain it. As she steps on us. And we get this beautiful piece of music. Right. Even more of these AoEs. And then let's swap. She switched over to her mace, so it's very much suggested that you swap. Otherwise, it's going to become very difficult for the healers to actually keep you healed. It's not impossible, but it's just going to start to become very difficult unless if you really know how to use your cooldowns well. Not impossible, mind you, just not recommended. And now people react to my Discord messages. Me calling people out like, hey, wanna help? Okay, we go and walk this way and then go in the middle. Also, when she grabs the bow, stand behind her. If you are in front of her, she does a 360-degree attack with that. If you get hit with it, you die in one shot. Also, touch the edge of the arena and you get frozen. Which means that then other people would need to help you escape that. Like, they would need to free you from that little ice block, basically. The bow doesn't really have a specific element, I would say. There's also this attack. She marks somebody. Oh, permafrost, do not move. If you move, you will slide around. You will slip slide away. Anyway. At one point, she will mark somebody. And she's gonna do a line attack in front of her and knock everybody into the back. If you get knocked into the edge once again, you get frozen. And then you would need to help, like to ask help of other people basically to be able to deal with stuff. She still has, the main tank still has like that blunt resistance problem. Permafrost. This is a crazy fucking attack. A crazy fucking fight. However, this mentor is actually doing a pretty, like, stellar job. Not gonna lie. You also take damage over time when you're in the ice block, by the way. And just like that, we freaking did it! Wow, I did not expect this to go this smoothly, and I was doing it on my own. But here we are. Nice, I love it. Okay, cool. Yeah, where's that mentor? That was Polly. Yeah. That was, or is it? It is a mentor, yeah, Polly, yeah. My God, that was such a good. That was such a good mentor. I'm so surprised. I'm sorry, but mentors tend to have like a reputation for not always being as open to helping people out in extremes, or also maybe not always as good, you know. There we go. Wait for people to roll and get a true ice weaponry. It's a pretty nice little set. Oh my god, spoilers! There's a gun class in this game? Money? Got 2 freaking commendations. Yeah, boy. Okay, so I need to report this back to Drillmont, but before we do that, I'm first gonna go and do a slight little thing. Actually, you know, I can do this off camera. I'm gonna do this off camera. It's the end of the episode anyway. After I'm done with reporting. I, in any case, finally found some gloves that I would like to wear for Lynn's Dragoon, which means that these kind of become obsolete. I still love these things, but also I really, really wish that this wasn't a thing. Or in any case, that like if you died to this thing, that it would die these too. That would have been amazing. But that's not the case, so rip. I think I'll still throw them in my, like same with these pants. I'm still gonna throw them into my glamour chest and we'll see if I can do something with it at a later date. There we go. Praise alone for your safe return. All here prayed for your success, Lynn. Tell us, have our prayers been answered? Even stronger than before, you say? Then we are truly fortunate for your intervention. Yet it would be wrong to glory in this victory, for it is yours, not ours. Indeed, your very presence here is a statement to the inadequacy of our own preparations. Plainly, it is time that we reappraise the threat posed by the heretics, and our readiness to address it. I can no longer say with any certainty that you are equal to the task, but this is none of your concern. Forgive me. Your deed shall not be forgotten, my friend. You, Urianger, and your entire order have my utmost thanks. And now we need to go back to Urianger, who will be the opposite of Uri Angry. He'll be Uri Happy. You don't want to know how long it took, like how long I've wanted to make that stupid joke. Another thing that I actually totally forgot to mention at some point too, is, I think I may have mentioned it at some point, but in any case, all of the extreme fights in Realm Reborn, except for Thorn March, or like the King Mugamog, they can give you mounts, which will all be horses in this case. However, there's actually a rare horse called the Nightmare, which is like, I would say it's like a Pegasus, but then with a dark color and a fiery horn, which is interesting. But in any case, there is a rare chance that you can get it to drop from either Ifrit, Titan, or Garuda. None of the other ones, only those 3. So that's another mount that you could technically get, but for me it doesn't give me a quest or any like other little tidbit of information that I would be willing to share, honestly, or like would be willing to record. So I'm not going to go out of my way to get it. However, you can if you want to. Hello. It's not the first time I've seen thee stride into the waking sands wearing such a look. Thou art as an open book, Lynn, wherein the tale of thy victory is writ large. In her redoubled strength I glimpsed the dark hand of the Paragons. Her return and her very defeat serveth merely to continue the escalating cycle of conflict. Full glad am I of thine all-surpassing martial skills, Lynn, yet still more glad would I be were they not required. Would that the Lady Iceheart could be made to abandon her misbegotten crusade. Till she be thus converted, or else slain, the people of Ishgard will know no peace. But be not disheartened. One day, by thy light, the darkness within and without shall be purged, and the Ascians shall taste lasting defeat. We need only have faith. And there we go! So, my friends, with that done, that very surprising turn of events, I hope you enjoyed this episode of just us playing Final Fantasy XIV, and next episode we are going to go and continue the MSQ. There's literally nothing left. Nice. Goodbye.